Okay, so when a candidate tells a company that they were laid off, the employer can essentially take that in one of two ways. Number one, a candidate could really have been terminated and they're calling it, a layoff in that circumstance, or it really could be, the individual could really be laid off. It's important to note as well, sometimes companies will, essentially terminate someone based on performance, but then they may call it a layoff just to avoid, legal issues down the road. It's easier to lay someone off as opposed to terminate them, right? So when answering a question about why you left that specific role or that specific company, you want to likely go into as much detail as possible. If you just call it, I just was laid off, and leave it at that, then it's open to interpretation by the employer that, hey, this person really was fired, or, the only individual in the company that was laid off. As opposed to if you go through and indicate, something, or answer the question like this. I was part of a 5% company layoff, across all departments. I was the last individual hired for my department, and unfortunately, the first one to be laid off out of the group, and I was laid off along with 5% of the company. Or another example is, our company was recently acquired. Let's say I worked in marketing. The marketing team used to be out of this office here. 6 months after the acquisition, all marketing was transferred to the head office at a different location, and the whole marketing staff was laid off. Another example, perhaps if you're working a project-based organization, you can indicate that we had completed our project, and unfortunately there wasn't another project for myself to move on to, or my team. So, 20 people on that team were laid off as well. So when answering that question, why you left a previous employer, you really want to specify and go into more detail as much as you can. Again, if it makes sense and makes it possible. Again, most people throughout their career will experience one layoff or two, depending upon their industry, and obviously if they don't work for the government. So again, I hope you can see the difference of you just say, I was laid off from that company as your answer and leave it at that, versus, I was laid off from the company along with 5% of the entire company due to financial constraints, or we were acquired and the whole department was laid off and sort of relocated to a head office. I hope you understand that it makes it a lot better, and it also doesn't hurt your candidacy. It also strengthens it, right, and indicate that you were laid off with a whole team versus just yourself, right? And there's nothing you can do about it, right? And that way as well, in terms of the employer's mind, it's not gonna create any doubt in their mind that, hey, this individual, may call it a layoff, but really he was terminated, right? So, So I just thought, it's a question that I get asked all the time about how to answer that question, and that's sort of what I would say is, obviously if it helps you, go into as much detail as you can and kind of paint that picture for that employer. All right. So as always, I get asked a lot of questions as being a recruiter for 15 years, and that's why I've created this channel to answer sort of simple interview questions here. So if you think this is helpful, give me a subscribe, and I have a lot more videos coming. So hopefully I can help you, ace your next interview and get the next job for you. So have a good night.